Tons of people in the income investing world really likes SEHD, and I understand it is a great dividend ETF. But here's the thing is, it's already been up a good 10, 11, 15% year to date. And the thing is, the Nasdaq 100 is down about 6, 7, 8% year to date. In today's video, we're going to be talking about 4 ETFs that I'm buying, and one of them is not SEHD. So let's get down to it and let's dive into these 4 ETFs.
This video is purely educational content and should not be considered personal finance advice. I'm not a licensed financial advisor, and I don't know your financial situation, risk tolerance, or even investment goals. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, and always do your own research and consider consulting with a qualified financial professional before making any investment. Alright, let's get on to the video.
Hey guys, my name is Steve and I run the Frugal Expat website where we try to help people to save more and invest better. And today we're talking about 4 ETFs that I'm buying right now in 2026. And some of them may shock you and some of them may say, oh, that's a good idea. So let's dive into these 4 ETFs and see if one of them could be one you may be buying as well. Now you guys may be asking why these different ETFs. Well, I'm going to break those down because, as of March of 2026, a lot of things have been happening. First of all, there's a whole bunch of people getting AI fatigue. Secondly, a whole bunch of companies making software are down. Thirdly, there's a war in Iran that was happening. And so we have all these things going on. And so the Nasdaq 100's down, the S&P 500's down, a lot of ETFs are down, a lot of companies are down. So this brings us to a great buying opportunity. And that means if you have been sitting on the sideline with all your cash and maybe the market is up today and maybe it was down yesterday, you could have been buying the dip yesterday and hopefully hoping that your portfolio is up to date. And so today we're going to be talking about these 4 ETFs that I like, and maybe you may like some of them as well. And so we're going to dive into these. We're going to talk about them, and at the end of the video, let me know if I'm doing a good job or maybe I'm missing out on some great ETFs. Now our first ETF is going to be qqqm. Now qqqm is the Invesco QQQ Trust ETF, and this is the cheaper version of the QQQ. Now this one's got an expense ratio of 0.15%, meaning it costs $15 for every $10,000 invested. QQQ, the OG, has an expense ratio of 0.18%, but I have most of my portfolio. It doesn't have QQQ, but it has qqqm, and so I'm investing more money into qqqm. Now with the Nasdaq 100, it has been down almost 7% into March of 2026, and so that's a good time to buy some more qqqm. Now, as of writing this and recording this video right now, the qqqm is only down about a little bit over 4%, and so it's not that bad. That's because maybe today was a good green day. But here's the thing is, with the Nasdaq 100, you're getting the top 100 non-financial companies on the Nasdaq exchange. You're getting some good growth. You're getting some good tech. It's got about 54% of technology within its portfolio, with companies like Nvidia, Amazon, Apple, Microsoft, Meta, Tesla. I mean, the list goes on. There's some great companies, and a lot of them are down right now. And so this is a good opportunity to get a whole bunch of those companies for pretty cheap. Now, why am I buying dip? Well, numbers do not lie. So qqqm is a great ETF that's been around for, somewhere around about 5 to almost 6 years. Now, QQQ has been around for many years. It's been around since 1998. And so you can tell that this ETF has been around for a pretty good long time. QQQM is just the cheaper version. Now, if we take a look at historics, we can see that in 2023, it was up about 55%. In 2022, it was down about 33%. So you had that opportunity to get it cheaper. In 2024, it was up about 25%. And in 2025, it was up a little bit over 20%. So with the Nasdaq being down and with QQQM being down about 4%, you are able to buy some of this dip. And so when it does skyrocket later on, maybe not this year, maybe in 2027, you're able to kind of take advantage of that. Now with my portfolio, I have a lot of money in VTI. I've got a lot of money in VGT, and QQQM is my 3rd largest holding. And so I continue to buy into the dip and to hold for the future. And so that's what reason why I am buying QQQM in 2026. ETF number 2 is going to be SMH. Now, SMH is the VanEck Semiconductor ETF. This ETF has been around for a good bit of long time. It has about 25 to 26 different holdings of semiconductor companies. Now, these companies range from NVIDIA, TSMC, ASML, Broadcom, Micron. So these are some great semiconductor chip companies. Now, with NVIDIA, you're creating different chips. With Broadcom, you're doing the same thing. You're designing chips. With Micron, you've got storage of chips. And with TSMC, you're manufacturing the chips. And ASML, you're making the machines that manufacture the chips. Everything needs chips. And with AI producing so much and data centers needing more storage, you need a whole bunch of different semiconductors to kind of create and push this industry forward. And that's one of the reasons I like SMH. I like TSMC. I used to live in Taiwan, and this is one of my favorite companies. I like Micron because it is a US company, but it was also in Taiwan, like right around the corner from where I lived. And so that was a cool thing. And I continue to buy some of this storage as I've seen storage is skyrocketing, and Micron is taking advantage of that. I think in 2025 it was up about 250%, and year to date is up even higher. And so this is a great company kind of boosting this ETF. Now, there are some other great semiconductor ETFs on the market. I really like SMH, and I've been investing in SMH for about 3 to 4 years. And so I continue to buy and hold and continue to buy more and more. And as the ETF does dip, I buy more, and I continue to buy for the future. Now, with this ETF, it has had a 10-year average of about 30%. Now, if you zoom out a little bit, in 2025, SMH had about 49%. If we look at the last 12 months, it's been up about 75%. The 5-year total return is up over 250%, while the 10-year total return is up over 1,475%. So this is doing really well. So this is one of the great reasons why I am buying SMH today. Now, if you like this video, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe. And one of my favorite places to research and to discover new ETFs is Seeking Alpha. Seeking Alpha is a great place that I like to research. And if you are into doing more research and to dive into the aspects of each of these ETFs, Seeking Alpha is a great place. Now, of course, I've got a pro plan, and a pro plan allows me to see more in depth and see articles and to see all these rankings. And so if you want a piece of this pro plan, there is going to be a link in my description and also in my pinned comments, so you guys can sign up and you guys can also do the research you want into each and every ETF. All right, let's get back to the video. ETF number 3 is going to be qqqi. Now, qqqi is the NEOS Nasdaq 100 High Income ETF. This ETF I have talked about a lot on this channel, and that's because, first of all, I think it's a great product from NEOS. Secondly, it tracks the Nasdaq 100. Thirdly, it gives you a pretty good yield of around 14%, and it is a great position that I could add to my portfolio to give it more of an income side. Now, most people are going to go with some classic dividend ETFs like an FDVV, VYM, and an SCHD. Right now, I am looking at income, and I really enjoy talking about NEOS ETFs, and that's why qqqi is one of my favorites that I like to talk about, and I'm investing in as well. And so as this journey continues to grow, I continue to want to add more income as I approach possibly a little bit older age and need a little bit more income to kind of supplement any other income I have coming in. And so qqqi, what it does, it sells out of the money cover calls on the underlying index of the Nasdaq 100. And so what it is doing is collecting premium and distributing that out to its investors. Now, it is not like a JEPQ or a JEPB, which uses ELNs. It does 1256 contracts on the index itself. And so what it does, it has about 60-40 split for the tax implications. So 60% long-term capital gains, 40% short-term capital gains. It also returns people's capital, ROC, and that means it is more tax efficient. Now, this is a great way to add an income portion into my portfolio. And I mean, I do have SCHD in my portfolio. I still continue to hold it. I still collect those dividends and allow it to grow, but qqqi does add an income portion, which is giving me yield now and allowing that to grow for the future. Now I've got qqqi, I've got SMH as some good growth factors, and now I've got qqqi as more of an income, and I can continue to buy it and hold it as the market has been dipped for it. Now the price of qqqi has dipped about 6% for year to date, but the total performance for year to date is down about 2.66%. So with this ETF being down, it is a good opportunity to buy some more and to continue to buy on this dip, and it will continue to grow for the future, and this could be a great income portion of my portfolio. ETF number 4 is going to be EWY, which is the iShares MSCI Korean Index ETF. Now this ETF is a little bit different because it is like an international wildcard play, and what it does is it tracks the Korean index market. Now right now with the Korean index market, you're having two major companies that are dominating this ETF, and that is Samsung and SK Hynix. Now Samsung and SK Hynix, they basically make a lot of memory, and with memory, it is huge right now in the AI infrastructure. AI data centers need more memory, and so Samsung's memory costs have gone way up. I was looking at trying to buy another 1TB SSD card that cost me about $100 in November 2024, and now in 2026 it's about 3 times that price. And so that is crazy to think that Samsung has skyrocketed that much. Now Samsung makes up about 23 to 24% of its portfolio. SK Hynix makes about a little bit over 19% of this portfolio, and so they both make up about 40% of the portfolio. Now in the 1-year return, it's up about 136%, while in the year-to-date return, it's sitting at about 36%. And so this is a great ETF if you're looking for a little bit of wild card, a little bit of some internationals, and so this could be an ETF for your portfolio. Now it does have an expense ratio of 0.56%, median cost about $56 for every $10,000 invested, and so this could be a great ETF if you wanted to have a little bit something different, a little bit of some more Samsung and SK Hynix. So SK Hynix isn't even on the US market, and it's very hard to buy some Samsung on the US market, so this ETF is a great place to buy these two different companies. Plus, there are some other companies like Hyundai and some other companies like Kia on this ETF, but the two main ones are Samsung and SK Hynix. And if you want some great memory, EWY is a great place to buy these companies from Korea. So we just finished up 4 great ETFs, as in qqqi, SMH, qqqi, and EWY. These are some great ETFs that I am buying in 2026. Now let me know in the comments, which ETFs are you buying in 2026? Do you like any of these? And here is a great video of some of the best ETFs that are soaring in 2026 right now. And I'll see you in our next video.